Today, we are tackling a big one, a medication you've almost certainly heard of, prednisone. It's an incredibly powerful drug that doctors use to just knock out inflammation. But how does it really work? And what are the things you absolutely need to know before taking it? Well, let's dive in and break it all down. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics, what prednisone even is. Then we'll get into how it works its magic in your body. We'll cover why it's prescribed, the super important warnings and side effects, and wrap up with the details on dosing. All right, first things first, the basics. What exactly is this stuff and what kind of drug are we talking about here? Okay, so prednisone is a corticosteroid. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's a man-made version of cortisol, which is a hormone your own body produces to handle things like stress and inflammation. Its main superpower, the whole reason it's used so often, is its incredible ability to tell your body's inflammatory response to just calm down. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The prednisone pill you swallow, it doesn't actually do anything on its own. It's what's called a prodrug, which is basically a drug in sleep mode. It has to travel to your liver, and your liver acts like a switch, flipping it on and converting it into its active form, which is called prednisolone. That's the molecule that goes out and does all the heavy lifting. So, once your liver does its thing and wakes up the drug, how fast does it all happen? Let's take a look at the journey from the moment you take the pill to when it's working at full strength. Once it's in your system, a regular immediate-release tablet gets to work pretty quickly. You'll feel its peak effect in about 2 hours, and that effect hangs around for about 2 to 3 hours. Now, if you take the delayed-release kind, it's, designed to last longer, stretching out that effect to about 6.5 hours. So where do doctors decide to unleash all of this anti-inflammatory power? Let's get into the common situations where prednisone becomes the go-to solution. You'll see this prescribed for a whole range of conditions. For instance, something called angioedema. That's that severe, deep skin swelling. Or adrenal insufficiency, where your body just isn't making enough cortisol on its own. And probably most famously, for sudden flare-ups of breathing issues, like with COPD or a really bad asthma attack. Okay, this is a big one. A drug this powerful comes with some serious responsibility. This next part, covering the warnings, the risks, and the side effects, is something you absolutely need to pay attention to. There are definitely times when prednisone is a hard no, and the biggest red flag is an active infection. Remember, prednisone's job is to suppress your immune system. So if your body is already fighting off a serious infection, especially something viral like chickenpox or a nasty fungal infection, you want your immune system at full strength, not dampened down. And of course, like any potent medicine, there's a list of potential side effects to be aware of. They can be physical, like headaches, high blood pressure, or making you retain water. They can also mess with your body's chemistry, causing high blood sugar or low potassium levels, and it can even affect your mental state, leading to things like insomnia or, in some rare cases, even psychosis. It doesn't just act alone either. Prednisone can interact with other drugs you might be taking. For example, if you have diabetes, it can actually fight against your insulin, making your blood sugar harder to control. Or if you're on certain diuretics, water pills, it can make your potassium levels drop even lower, which can be dangerous. All right, let's bring this home with the practical stuff. How is this drug actually given out? And what do we need to think about in special cases, like pregnancy? One of the great things is that both prednisone and its active twin, prednisolone, come in a ton of different shapes and sizes. This gives doctors amazing flexibility to get the dose just right, from teeny tiny 1 milligram tablets all the way up to a 50 milligram powerhouse, not to mention liquid versions for people who have trouble with pills. So what's a typical dose? Well, it can vary a lot based on what's being treated, but for an adult, you're usually looking at something in the ballpark of 10 to 60 milligrams per day, and that might be all at once in the morning or split into a few doses. Now for a really important question, one that comes up all the time. What about taking it during pregnancy? The way the body handles this is, well, it's pretty amazing actually. So check this out. The placenta acts like a brilliant little security guard. It's full of enzymes that see the active drug, prednisolone, trying to cross over to the fetus, and it grabs it and converts it back into the inactive sleeping form, prednisone. It's this incredible natural defense mechanism that hugely reduces how much of the active drug actually reaches the baby. So there you have it. Prednisone is, without a doubt, a powerful tool in the fight against inflammation. But It's a tool that demands our respect and a real understanding of what it can do, both good and bad. And all this information really leads us to one final crucial thought. What's the most important question you need to ask your doctor before you ever start this medication? Thanks for tuning in.